What's up, guys?
Woo!
Woo!
Welcome back to the Rec Valentine's edition.
Oh my
Valentine's edition. This is our first episode of our Valentine series for
Yes,
all
it
of
is.
February. God is so good. You know who gave us an extra day this year? And it just so happens that it's on a Thursday. Can you believe? The first day of the month is on a Thursday and the last day, so we have 5 weeks of episodes this month.
Let's go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, God is so good.
It's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah. And as you guys can tell, we're just going to dive right into it, by the way, y'all.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys have watched the announcement of what is going on this month. We have such an amazing episode planned for you today. And today we'll be talking about dating young. Is dating young a good idea? And to talk about this, we have our friends Mat and Sthephany with
Mat
us
and
today.
Stheph, let's go.
I love that clap.
I'm sure you guys remember them from way back in the beginning of the podcast, and they're back again based on a lot of requests too. A lot of you guys loved them and wanted them back. Here we go.
I love that.
Yes,
Hey,
it
guys.
was such an amazing episode. So introduce yourselves again. Who
For
are
the
you
people
guys
who don't
didn't
know
watch
you
the
guys,
episode, just really
Hey.
quickly.
Hi guys, I'm scared of my I'm Steph. This is
Matt.
last time we were on the Rec was about a year ago.
Yeah.
I was pregnant on the episode of the Rec.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know.
We didn't. We already knew. They didn't know.
Yeah, we did not know.
that's a crazy story.
I think Nick's dad called it.
He did.
He
did
He
call
called
it.
it.
Yep, he did.
And now we have a 2-month-old baby girl.
Aww.
Aww.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about us. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
we're just happy to be back. We're
Yes.
really excited. We love you guys. You know,
Aw.
we love
We
the
love you guys,
podcast,
too.
and
Yes,
we're just excited to dive right in.
That's
Yes.
great. Let's do this then.
Yes.
So go ahead.
So, guys, for the people who don't know you guys, how did you guys start dating? How did it all start, We obviously, you guys talked about it a
Little
little
bit,
bit
yeah.
in the last episode that we recorded with you guys, but talk to us again. How did you guys meet?
do you want to take the reins? I think I took it last time.
A little
You can start.
Valentine's Day
Yeah.
special. It's got to be more romantic, though,
Okay,
Aw.
so you got to start off romantic.
Wait, you have to give her. You have to play it. Y'all are gonna get sick of that. Just saying.
Well, we met. We met really young. We met at a camp, a Christian camp.
if you're gonna
when we
take
were
it back.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Camp Tecumseh. We rode in the same van, but we didn't know each other.
Yes.
And then when we finally met, where we actually recognized each other, it was at our church. So the official story, she's gonna say it's not, but it is the official story.
It's probably a lie.
Is Steph liked me first? Okay.
That is false. All our friends that will watch this will comment below that Matt is
Bro,
lying.
Brittany said it when she came on the episode. Oh, no, not on the episode, but she told me.
Uh-huh.
She goes, no, Matt liked her first.
Yeah, facts.
Oh.
Facts.
I'll
Name
call some.
dropping, we
I'll call
love
some
Brit.
friends. You're gonna get a lot of comments on this one.
We have the same friends. Don't say the same thing.
But
Anyways.
basically, when Steph first walked into church, I saw her and she had a bad day that day, and she just looked really grumpy, and I was like, oh, what a
It was
weird
my
looking
before
girl.
Jesus moment, right? Before
BC.
Yeah, BC.
And I was kind of a thing at church, all the ladies really liked me at the time.
Wow.
We're supposed to be honest here.
But
Oh, dang.
But basically what happened was, I'm just gonna ignore that. Basically what happened is we one of our friends, a very, very close friend of ours, called us to go watch a movie at their house. And I actually went there thinking of another person. But while we were there, this friend of mine was like, why don't you, talk to Steph? She's cute, she's really nice, and she's Christian, and she's trying to get back into church. And that's when I actually started really recognizing Steph. But I didn't like her until I won't say the details because it's not very Christian. But basically, I told a joke to all the guys at church, and the joke isn't appropriate for
It's
this
also
podcast.
before Chris. People.
BC moment.
I grew very much from the time I was 17. 18. But this friend who unfortunately passed away, but he told me, why don't you tell Steph the joke? Girls love it when you tell them jokes. I was like, okay. So I told her a joke, and she laughed really hard at the joke. And her smile was so beautiful at that laugh. That's when I really fell for her, when she laughed, because she was always so grumpy at church. She was coming back to Christ,
Yeah.
but she was her smile is just, she has such a big smile. It's I wish she smiled more, but it's amazing. It's just
Real.
He's going to overuse that.
Oh, yeah.
and then
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the gist of it. But the moment that we met to the moment that we started dating was a very long road. It took us a little while, like where we became friends, which today I value that so much. The fact that we took the time to be friends.
Right.
Because Matt was very romantically interested in me, but I was not there yet. I was not at that place yet. So in my heart, I'm like, you know what? Let's be friends.
Right.
Like let's know each other.
I was
let's
also
be
older than
friends.
her, so my head was somewhere else compared to her.
Yeah, but so we took the time to just be friends, and I was like, I loved him as a friend. He was my best friend, and eventually Matt was like, hey, like he would always ask me out. He'd be like, hey, do you want to go, like, you want to go out? You want to go to the movies? And I'd be like, no, we're just friends. Like, and I would
She
push
stood
that.
me up a
I'd
couple
be like,
times.
hey, we're just friends. And he'd be like, hey, do you want to, like, do this? He would always try to do everything that I liked. He'd be like, hey, like, I know you like to do this. Like, I danced for a very long time. So he was like, hey, I have to do a project for school. I have to go to ballet and write a report on it. Do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, I love dance.
Wait, was that true?
That was, yes.
Yeah.
I had a arts class in college, and
But he-
we
yeah.
had to watch some sort of presentation and write a
he
report.
he
on it.
used it as like
An excuse.
Yeah, and I was
It was
like,
between her and my mom.
So you obviously went with
so
her.
he was like,
I'm much better.
and then,
Much
like,
better.
he'd be like, hey, let's go to Funplex. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I would go and I'd be like, hey, like, it's like a friend. We're going out as friends. And then the way we actually started dating is Matt took me out. He's like, hey, let's just go out for Valentine's, right? Valentine's Day? Let's just go out for Valentine's Day.
Perfect timing.
And I was like,
I
okay,
actually
fine.
have a small testimony about that, because I prayed to God and I said, you know, if this is to be, you know, please open doors where there aren't, you know. And basically I asked her out with no money. I had no money, and I wanted to take her to the fanciest restaurant I could think of, which at the time, since I was very poor, was the hibachi. But even hibachi,
So sweet.
Wait, still, even a hibachi.
it's like $70 to $100.
Right.
Expensive,
It is
yeah.
expensive.
And I broke college kid. I had no money. So I was like praying. I was like, God, I can't ask my dad again for money. Like I always ask him for money. It's starting to look bad.
Yeah.
So randomly, this friend of mine came up to me at college. This friend has been my friend for 15 years.
Wow.
I never saw him take one quarter out of his pocket to buy me like anything. Never. He gave me an envelope. The envelope had $100 in it. And he said, you've been taking me to school for the last 4 years and you haven't charged me one day of gasoline. I need to give you something because I'm so thankful for you. It was the
Wow.
week of the date. And that money went straight to the date. And then that date led to
Yo,
us.
that
Yes.
talk about how God works.
Right?
man.
That was like,
I just
That was
he
provision
picked, he
before that.
picked the one friend I would never think would ever give me money to
He's
give
like
me the
that.
money, which I thought was
Oh,
the
yeah.
funniest thing of the whole story.
Crazy. Oh my
That's
god.
beautiful.
yes. And then also, side note, Matt had already talked to my parents.
Her
Asking
dad
their
rejected me.
permission.
Oh.
Stop it.
I told him, hey, I want your permission to date Steph, and he goes, you know, sometimes women say no.
Oh, come on. Oh my god.
Like, he said no. He was like,
But
nah.
we hadn't agreed that we were going to date. It was just we were gonna go out. Like
I guess he knew.
yeah. But then Matt went to talk to my parents, and then while we were out, he goes, "Hey, by the way, I already asked your parents for you to be my girlfriend, and they said yes. So this is." And I was like, "That's not how this works. Like, I just also want to be
He
in
said-
this."
I need
He
to
set
stress.
you
I'm
up,
not,
man.
I
I
need
don't
to
wanna
stress
be
I'm
in
not
this.
creepy in any way. Like, I didn't stalk her.
I was like, I need to, and then we agreed. I was like, look, I'll give this a chance. Like, we're best friends. Let's give this a chance. I'm like, but if it doesn't work out, you can't be upset with me.
Right.
We have to like hope doesn't ruin our friendship. Like, we're best friends. Like, if it doesn't work out, like, just know that we tried.
Yeah.
And here we are today.
Now here.
You
Here we
know,
are
a few
today.
years later, and a
Yeah,
baby.
and a baby.
She still hasn't told me if it worked out.
And that's God. But yeah, that's the beginning. That's
Yeah,
how
it
it
was
started.
amazing.
That's how
That's
it started.
beautiful. So one hibachi date later,
Yeah,
here you are. And did you have fun?
it was nice.
It was actually, first of all, I was before our wedding. So I had weight loss surgery after our wedding. So that hibachi, I ate so much. I was already starting to get chubby at the time, you know.
Yeah,
so I already was really full. But the problem with the dates, the ballet, the hibachi I ate too much. And basically, I was too sleepy to even hang out with her afterwards.
Oh my gosh, you get like that.
I am so like
The
that.
baby
get really
Crazy.
stuffed.
The ballet, I got really nervous about leaving her alone, and that she went to the bathroom, I didn't. By the end of the date, in New York they don't let you use the bathrooms after a certain
Right.
time.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I had to do number one so badly. And I
Wow.
basically like get out of the car, bye, and left. I always I told her this. I think God wanted us to start at a specific time because every
Yeah,
time
it
it
was very
seemed like it was
particular.
gonna
Like,
go. Something came up, and it was always on my end. It was always me being the problem. But like something always came up that was like God was just like, wait, no, this is not. This
The
is
right
not the
time,
right time
yes.
to take this to the next level.
Yeah.
That's perfect. God
Yeah, that
does
is
work in
beautiful.
like His timing is
Oh,
perfect.
it's yeah, absolutely.
And then I guess this kind of leads on to our next question. When or like why did you guys decide to get married? Because I know you guys. Oh, sorry. Before, how old were you guys during this?
Oh yes.
time?
So we met. I was 16. When we met, I was 16.
At church,
Yes.
not at camp.
Like yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like officially met and became friends. We only started dating when I was 18.
Uh-huh. So
I was
you were
20.
20, right?
Yes.
So he was 20. Yes. So it
I
took
waited till she
again,
was
it took
18.
us yeah. But like we were always like within the same age frame.
Right,
Like it wouldn't be like weird if we did start. To
No,
date,
yeah, that's kinda like
but
me
we
and
were
Nick, too.
yeah. But
Like,
I was
we're 2 years apart.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I was 18. Yeah.
Yeah, we also had a like during that time we had a string of just I don't count them as relationships. I never really had a girlfriend before Steph, but I did have bad relationships
Right.
with certain other women. And Steph also had some weird like relationships with other men that it always seemed like there was something missing in those people. And it's not that they were bad people, that it just seemed like the compatibility between me and these other people were Steph and these other men, it just never, there's always something missing.
Yeah.
And it seemed like in our friendship, we found that.
Yes.
Wow.
I feel like we always talk about this. If we had dated, there was a small chance we could have dated like day one that we
Yeah.
met.
Much sooner.
But for us, it would have been like,
Not worth. It wouldn't.
it probably wouldn't have worked out.
No.
Yeah. We found something about ourselves through our friendship that we wouldn't have found out if we had just
Yes.
started dating.
And I
That's
guess
beautiful.
that, like, leading to your question, like, when and why we decided to get married, I think from the beginning, like, yes, we really focused on our friendship. And I was going through a very tough, we talked about it in the first podcast, and how I went through a really tough time.
Yeah.
And Matt was really there for me the whole entire time. And he didn't have a second intention. Like, he liked me, but he was genuinely
Friends.
listening. He was genuinely, like, he wanted to help me through my season. And when it came to it and we started dating and
It's easy to listen to a girl when she's that beautiful.
but when we started dating, I was already like my walk with Christ was getting stronger, and I was already like graduating high school, and I'm very strong minded, and so I was already like I don't play. Like I'm like I know what I want, and that it is what it is. And I told Matt, I was like, look, I'm not dating. This is not a game for me. Like I'm not dating to play around. Like I'm looking for my husband.
Wow.
go.
And if I see that you're not going to be my husband, let's not carry this out longer than it has to. So I was like, hey, like this cannot go on for more than 3 years.
Wow.
and God,
Just like to the T. I was like, this can't go on for more than 3 years, or else we need to just drop it.
and
Like,
God
it's not
really,
God's will.
God had to change both of us.
Yes, we went through a lot of growth.
Steph was distant from church at the time,
Yeah.
and for me, I was like the laziest man on earth. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to. Hygiene was far from me. It was terrible. I was the opposite of the man, like you see. And the problem is, I tell Steph this all the time. If I haven't met Steph, I'd probably still be in a room in my mom's house, not having a job.
I think your mom would have got rid of you.
You know, and God is the drive for everything in my
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
But God put Steph to drive me to become a better person. Yeah. And I know some people might be watching, might be thinking, oh, wow, she got there and was like, you got to get a job. She wasn't like that at all. It was the desire to make her happy that drew
Right.
me to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just today, I budget. I never thought I'd budget.
Wow.
oh, this much, you know, like I
Well,
never-
not for your worship guitar stuff, right?
I'm telling you.
that's the secret.
That's the secret.
No.
But it's and with her we would talk a lot, and what interested me the most was that she was at the time she was really broken. She would say just though some people are like I'm distant from church and they're just ignorant about it.
Yeah.
You know, they're just I don't want to talk about it. Church is my past, whatever. For her, it was like I'm distant from church, but I know I need to get back. And when she would say that to me, it just opened something in my heart that's like, wow, she's so humble, like she to recognize that this is her problem, you know, like people don't do that. So I took it first that I need to help her. I need to be a friend to get her back to where she was with church. And then through that, I fell in love. I mean, she was amazing.
Yeah, and I think like Matt said, I keep him on his toes for sure. Like I'm like constantly like, so like he said, like I think that me being so like, this is my goal, brought him with me, and I think that when we sat down, we were talking about marriage and stuff like that, and we would openly always talk about marriage and getting married, and we were aware, like at the age we were, I was already done with high school, he was in college, we were like, okay, like we need to grow together. It's not I'm gonna watch you grow and I'm gonna we need to support each other because we were like, you guys are really young and all that stuff, and I was like, well, we had ambition, and it's not only that. After everything we went through, where he supported me and I supported him and we grew together, we understood the importance of putting Christ at the center. So when we knew that was our goal, we everything that we did it around Christ. So it became so much easier when we finally decided like it's time to take the next step, that there was never any doubt. When it was God's timing, it was God's timing, because why else would it take like 3 years on the dot we got engaged?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
3 years
God
on
is so
the on
perfect.
the dot.
The day of.
Yes, on the dot. Our
Did you
anniversary.
plan that? When you proposed?
It was my ultimatum.
So she,
It was my 3
no,
years.
so
But it was-
she gave me the ultimatum, and I had college, and I told her I won't get married if I'm still in college. I'm not gonna
it's
take
a
all
lot.
this debt.
It's
Yeah,
a big
I can.
load.
Finance is in relationships, finance, especially in new marriage, it's what
Yeah.
destroys marriages.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think it's the 50% more
There's like
reason.
I'm not,
of
but I want to
divorce?
say it's a really high percentage.
Yeah, it's a very high.
It's a high
percentage.
percentage of why marriages go wrong. is
Yes,
because of
financial.
finances,
Yeah.
Financial
It's
problems.
anybody that always like any young person that asks me about that, I'm like, if you're getting in a relationship, be very honest about your finances.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes, right
don't
off.
get married and then be like, oh, by the way,
I have a
all
bunch of
this
debt.
debt.
Yeah.
Like,
I
don't
owe
do
that
that.
amount,
Yeah.
Be very honest about
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because like also God maybe putting that person in your life to help you with that. you know,
Yes,
so
to support you in that.
it's important. But with that being said, she gave me the ultimatum, and I was like, I don't want to get married right now. So I did the math, man. I was like, all right, on this day I have to propose to her, or else she's leaving me. So then I waited till that day.
He pushed it out as long as he could, and it's
Yeah.
funny because I wasn't expecting it.
I
Even
really-
though in the back
Really?
of my head I kind of knew. I was
On
like,
the
what?
dot.
Again, if I was
So that
rich,
shock?
I would have
Yeah.
proposed to her the day she gave me the ultimatum. I really would have. Like, it wasn't
Oh
a
my
thing. Like I
goodness.
don't want to, but like I was like, God, you gave me this time. I'm gonna go till the last.
I'm
day.
gonna go to the last breath.
And then, but yeah, it was great that day.
But
Was
but
amazing.
again, it was God's timing. Everything was God's timing. The time we were friends, the time we dated, the time we got engaged. We were engaged exactly for a year, and then the time that we got married. It was just
We're planners.
we're big time
God
planners.
really
And
put two
I was
planners
gonna say
together.
the Lord likes that. He likes
Yeah.
organization. And then also, were you guys talking about marriage throughout your relationship from the beginning?
No.
No.
Not right away.
Well, so I would say like again, she was like, let's see how this relationship works. So
Like you had the intention.
so like
I
we
always
Yeah.
get the intention of
so like not even week one, like hour one, I was like, I love you, and then
yes, it was very quick, and I was like, what?
I love you.
and then she
I
was
was
like,
like,
you're all right, yeah, I like you too. And then-
I was like, I told you we're friends.
So I think the marriage came up like 2-3 months in.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it wasn't.
Okay, so it was early.
So it was,
early.
it was
Yeah, it was
because,
early.
and we always comfortably talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if it comes to a point where you're uncomfortable, maybe you're not living in the right time. Maybe that's not the right person for you, because I felt like we had a lot of peace talking about the future. I think when you're uneasy talking about a future with someone, maybe that's not God's plan. And the fact that it was very easy for us to talk about the future and be open about every aspect of the dreams that we had, it made everything just very easy, so that by the time we got there, we had already traced this whole path. You know,
Wow.
he knew all the ins and outs. We were best friends.
I think
Yeah.
when you're really in love with someone, a lot of people see marriage as the end. Oh, you got married, now life's over.
Beginning.
But
It's the
like
beginning of your life,
with
man,
her,
yeah.
man, when we talked about marriage, I could just see a whole new life starting, a whole new.
Like walking on clouds. It
Yeah,
was-
like I could just see, wow, we're gonna even our first apartment. It was just like a dream come true. It was like, oh my god, I get to live with the love of my life in this.
it's like endless
Yeah.
sleepovers, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like an
That's
endless
how I
Yeah,
imagine
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
we get to watch movies and
Yeah.
all the time now. We don't gotta like ask permission. Can we come over? You know, like
Yeah.
so. It was just like it was really just thinking about marriage was amazing. I think if you're in a relationship and when you think about marriage, you see it as something as like a burden.
Yeah.
Maybe you should rethink your relationship.
Yeah.
You know, but as Christians too, we we were always getting kind of pressured to do the marriage thing quicker.
Right.
I feel like every Christian relationship
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
because
there's
you-
this huge pressure that you need to get married because like what are
Like,
you
they
dating
push-
for?
It's like everything is sooner. Like we
Exactly.
grew up with that mindset.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that too. Like, did your age influence this decision? I feel like people put so much pressure on your age too. It's like you're not getting any younger.
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh,
I'm
like,
still
yeah.
young.
Yeah.
I
know
am
what I'm
young.
saying?
Like let me live out my.
We got married. I was 24. She was 22,
Yeah.
and we even at the time we thought, wow, we're really young. you
Yeah.
know?
We were convinced. We're like, no, we understand we're young.
and it's just, again, we were pressured from the time we started to the time we got married, and it wasn't like people were being mean or anything, but it was just, it was kind of annoying because love doesn't pay the bills. Like if we got
Yeah.
married like 2 months in,
If it was based on love, we would have been loaded.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Like lots of money. I'd be balling. I'd be balling.
the Elon Musk of
Elon Musk.
love.
Yeah, love paid the bills. Yeah,
But,
I'd be really rich.
But basically, it was a situation where she was just coming out of high school.
Mhm.
I was still in college with all this college debt. There was no way we could even think about getting it. And
Realistically,
even when we got married, I was much more financially stable. Everything was great, and my dad still helped me with most of it. So and her
we're
parents
very
helped.
blessed
Yeah,
in that
we're
aspect.
very
that we
blessed
had
with the family and
family
everything.
to lean
So
on.
I could imagine if I tried like 2 years earlier, it just
It wouldn't
wouldn't
have
work.
worked.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I think like yes, it's God's plan. I think obviously there's certain things that come with relationships that every relationship is unique.
Mhm.
But one thing that's really important is don't ever jump into anything because people are pressuring
Yes, yes.
you. You know, God sometimes puts a little break, a little stop on things until you could get your life resolved.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Two broken people just create a broken marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
that's the thing. So
Mhm.
you got to fix that up first before you go into anything deep.
And that only works through time. As time passes,
Exactly.
you know, that's where God starts working with you. It's like you said, you know, you were once a lazy man, and she was also not, you know, with Christ like strong like that at some point. So, you know, it was that time that God was working through you guys. And if you guys are not patient throughout that time and want to jump into decisions quickly because of influence,
Exactly.
then it could you guys are putting yourselves in a higher risk.
Mhm.
But going through this patient process that you guys went through, I mean, we see it today, the results of it. It was the best decision, and we see that, you know, the Lord's blessed you guys so much because of that. So
Mhm.
You have to be able to live your season. Like
Yeah.
God, nothing is on accident. He doesn't do things by accident. Everything has a purpose. And from the beginning to this very moment, everything that was traced with our age and with everything was done within purpose. And our age did and didn't influence us because we knew that at the time we were living that it was God's plan.
Right.
Because like it or not, when we ask God for a sign, He will give it to you.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, but God didn't tell me. No, God told you. You just didn't want to
listen.
listen.
Yeah.
That was up to you. That was a you. That's a you thing.
That's a
you problem.
That's not a me thing. That's a you thing.
Yeah.
So God was very clear, and at times until today, we're like, wow, like, but God, like, that's crazy. Like, we have no business,
Uh-huh.
like none of that happening. But
we
it's-
have a situation where we always make fun of it. Every time something difficult happens, we always talk about like, well, let's just think about the week after that. You know, the week after that, we'll be laughing about it. It'll be done.
Yeah.
And every difficult situation me and her have gotten through. Every difficult
Amen.
situation, anything. Like I'll be very honest. Our first month because of all the bills, rent was difficult
Yeah.
for me.
Mhm.
We had a situation too where all of a sudden everything closed down because of COVID. I didn't know if I was gonna have a job. You know, there's a situation with her. She had a really bad job. Same thing happened to me moving forward too, and we had to sit down and be like, I support you. Leave there. You know,
Yeah.
leave that toxic
Wow.
place.
So a lot of times people will look down on us because of how young we are or how young we were, but we had been so prepared.
Mhm.
I think that God had really been molding us throughout our whole journey. That everything that happened when we got married, it actually brought us closer together rather than push us apart.
And I could say our fights are the dumbest fights in the world. We fight about like who ate the last Oreo.
It was you.
never
This was a recent argument.
Why'd
It
you
was
take my last Oreo?
It's
It gets
never
intense.
Well,
serious
those are the
fight.
best
It gets
arguments.
intense.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say that those are best because wouldn't you rather be fighting about that versus
Girl,
something so much
yes,
bigger
absolutely.
Yeah,
that isn't
that's true.
taking you anywhere?
Exactly.
You know?
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
what happens when you have Christ in the center.
And again, essentials. And again, I've been there. I was 16, 17, 18, and I was distant from God. Like I've been there. I know what it's like to be a part of the world. I know what it is like to party. I know all the things.
I don't.
But
I don't.
I really don't
I
know.
was always holy.
You were the Minecraft kid, right?
My best friend was my video game.
But honestly, people say like, like, hi, people are so anxious to be with someone and people want to be dating. People are always looking for their, for their boyfriend, girlfriend. Who's my wife? Who's my husband? Live your singleness, because I wish I would have lived my singleness more for God. I wish I wouldn't have wasted so much time. We're so blessed to have been able to serve throughout all of our relationship and have been focused all of our time in being in church and serving and growing together in Christ. But enjoy your singleness and use all the time that you have in your singleness to be serving, because you have so much more freedom. You're not like, we don't use Julia as an excuse. We don't use our marriage as an excuse, but you don't have obligations. You're not like, oh, I have to get home to my wife. I have to get home to my husband. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to clean the house. I have to wash the dishes, whatever. You're not binded to that. You're free to be like, you know what? I'm going to sit here right now. I'm going to have my quiet time with God. I don't have distractions.
I don't have to worry about
I can go to church whenever I have to be at church. I can do this. If I want to go to a conference in Brazil, I go to Brazil. Like, you have more freedom to be able to decide what you're going to do with your time. You don't have to be so nitpicky about what you need to do. So I wish I would have invested my life more in Christ in my singleness. And that's okay to be single. It's okay to not have anyone. It's okay for you to be alone when you could be surrounded by so many people. Sometimes people find it hard to be by themselves. But it's okay to be alone. It's okay to spend that time and get to know yourself and make friendships. Like, one thing I always tell Matt, I'm like, I'm so grateful we had a friendship. Because you don't need to date to get to know someone. No. You don't need to have a boyfriend, girlfriend to have a friendship. Be friends.
Yeah.
I know that we come from a long line of Brazilian parents that are saying boys and girls can't be friends.
But yes, they can.
But they can.
Love,
we're living
love
a
in
new
the
time.
friend zone is the deepest love possible.
Oh, I can imagine. Matt suffered.
Matt climbs out of the
Matt
friend
was in
zone.
there.
If you
And
want to
it's
know how to get out of the
okay.
friend zone, call me.
Matt's your guy.
It's our hey, let's be friends. Let's get to know each other. And like, hey, like, I have an interest in you. I like you. And like, if it doesn't work out, we're friends. We don't have to do like. We don't
To
have
be
to
honest,
push that out.
Steph, even though Steph was distant from church, she was every woman, they're much more mature than me. Even though I'm 2 years older than her, it looked like I was like her little brother. Like,
It's a girl thing.
It
It's
is
a girl thing.
thing.
We
I know.
mature quicker.
We do,
And every time something big happened in our friendship, our relationship, I would mess it up somehow, and she would fix it every time. For example, our first kiss, she
was
she
like,
was
"Don't
like,
tell nobody."
"Don't tell anybody. Keep it quiet. We'll talk about this later." I told the whole church.
Like,
I was like,
went-
we're basically.
I went to,
Yo, I kissed
I
that
went to
girl.
church the next
Basically
day
my
and they were
wife
like,
now.
you and Matt are dating? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, well, Matt told. I was like, Matthew.
I told the pastor. I
Told the pastor?
Yeah,
I'm like,
we were at his house. I was like, I kissed Steph. He goes, what?
Everyone.
Oh, wait, were you guys dating at this time or no?
No, it was like our first like where
That is so
I
funny.
felt I was like, oh my, like, I think I like him, and I was like, I'm gonna give him a kiss, and he was like, he told everyone, and I was like, jeez.
He was like, yo, I found my wife now, guys.
He said she kissed me. We're basically married.
But it's in like other situations that happen in our lifetime. We've had arguments in our friendship where like she's like stopped the car, she got out of the car, and stuff. And
I'm a very strong-minded person.
wow.
yeah, she's definitely
I
calmer
am, I'm
today.
Is that spirit of Peter?
Jesus Cristo mudou meu viver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Amen.
I'm a lot angrier back then. But we like every time I messed it up, the next day she would message me, call me, and fix it. So it's funny because she didn't like me, but she couldn't stand me in a way. Yeah. And I was the opposite. I was in love with her, but like I could immediately like this girl is just annoying me right now. I need to leave. So it was really funny. But I had to mature, and she had to find Christ before we could get this
Even be
relationship
together.
going.
Yeah, before any of it could.
That's wonderful.
That is
And
beautiful.
do you guys think that you missed out on stuff since you guys started dating so young? Because, like, let's believe it or not, like, a lot of people don't get married until late 20s, early 30s sometimes, because they find their person, they find their husband, they find their wife later on in life.
Yeah.
Since you guys met each other so young, do you feel like there was stuff that you missed out on? I know that a lot of people in today's world, like, I wish I could have dated around more and met
Oh.
new
Yeah, yeah.
people. Do you guys?
Oh,
think
no,
that?
no. I don't, like, we've had this conversation, and it's very easy when you're young, when you get a relationship, like, you focus on that person, and, like, nobody else exists. Like, people drop friends, people, like you're only focused on your significant other. I think in the beginning, we had that, made the mistake where we just wanted to be together all the time, just me and him, like, all the time. And then our friends would be like, hey, like, you guys, like, did you forget about us? And I was like, we had a conversation. I was like, wait, we need to remember that outside of us, there's a world, and we have friends and we have family. And the moment that we realize that it's you know, like it's us living in the world with other people and knowing that there's people that want to be a part of our relationship, like want to support us. We didn't miss out on anything because we went out with our friends, we hung out, we knew how to differentiate we're a relationship and we're friends. So we hang out till today. We go out as just friends, like we have friend dates. Like, hey, let's play video games. Hey, let's do stuff. Like,
Oh, that's
we
beautiful.
we knew how to separate being friends and being in a relationship. So I think that really helped us to not miss out on anything because we could hang out with other people where I'm bullying him and he's bullying me and we're all bullying each
I
other.
love it.
And so like it's like we're in a friend group. It's like oh, they're together, but they know how to be with us too.
Yeah.
And I think that was always really important, and that allowed us to not miss out on a lot because we were able to differentiate the two.
Before dating her, I was a little crazy, to be honest. I never
What?
I never
Hold on, side note.
I never did things like bad things, but I always like if like a friend of mine, this a true story. Friend of mine was like, "Hey, you want to put on these skates and just go down a hill at night and by the lake?" Yeah, sure. And then we just went
He had a dangerous mindset.
Yeah.
He still
Right.
does. Men just
Yeah.
have dangerous
I
mindsets.
They do.
Yeah.
race my
Right?
mom's
Like, right,
minivan
Danny?
to Newark.
Right, all of you.
Yeah.
I know what y'all be doing.
It's a miracle that you guys are not hurt, broken legs, broken anything.
Oh,
Miracle.
right.
That is
Miracle.
true.
So when we started dating, I definitely calmed down a little bit with the crazy ideas, but like I never felt that like it took away from my life. It just added to my life.
Yeah, it was.
I just saw it as like a new chapter. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, it
basically.
was like again. I think it depends on how you're prepared to go into these things, and
But
yeah.
like she said, with the age thing though, I do feel that when we started dating, we did distance ourselves
Yeah.
the same way. I think we needed to learn that. A couple people were upset with us
Yeah.
from like, oh wow, they just stopped talking to us. But it wasn't that we were we were trying to figure out our relationship, and it just we didn't know how to handle that
Yeah.
at the time. I think that does come with age. I think that's a reason why people get married much later because people tend to be, you know, if you're like if you have a friend of my age, that's a friend for life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's just like now we're not gonna distance
Right.
ourselves from those people.
Yeah.
I
But-
feel like it comes with maturity as you get
Yes.
older. You
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
100%.
mature, fix that mindset, you know? I think that even us too, like we kind of experience that a lot too.
Oh
and
yeah.
A lot of
100%.
times I feel like people also are it's crazy because they're used to you guys not dating.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you guys
You're
are
dating.
You
together.
guys are dating.
Especially when you're in a
all of
friend group.
Yes,
Yeah.
in a big friend
Yeah.
group. It's really weird. I'm really grateful that Nick and I's friend group is like all of us are dating.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
yeah,
That's
and
great.
everybody understood.
No, it's
Yeah.
trust me, it's the best.
like,
Yeah.
all- and like we're all dating. Oh, this is gonna sound so bad. Hear me out. We're all dating each other. Like
like the friends. The friends
Yes.
are dating the friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
exactly.
So like
That's
her
it.
best
I
friends.
got you.
Her best friends are the girlfriends of my best friend.
Exactly.
So it like
It works.
Yeah, it
It's
works,
great,
yeah.
and I love it. Like literally, Danny's like proof right there. We go out with Alicia and Danny, and it's so funny because it's not like it's a double date, but it also feels
But you guys
like
are friends.
we're all
Yes.
friends.
Yes.
we
And we're
can
just
all. It's like
hanging
you said, we can all bully each other, and it's like I love
And
that.
you're just
100%.
hanging out, and it's just
Exactly,
fun.
and it's just vibes, and I love having Christian
Yeah.
friendships because you can talk about Jesus and invite him into the conversation and have fun
Yeah.
with
Yes,
him too.
yes.
And it's wonderful, and I think it's so important to have that in a relationship.
yes.
I think people should be more aware of that. I feel like who you surround yourself with in terms of the relationship as well. Also, it does play a big factor.
Yeah,
If
it
you're
does.
surrounding yourself with people who don't support your guys' relationship and stuff like that, you know, that's like you're kind of I would say like you're kind of asking for it in the sense of like, you know, just those things that you don't need, you know,
Yeah.
that friendship, those comments that you don't need to hear. It's important that you surround yourself with the right people, the ones who will
Yes.
support you, the ones who are gonna help you through your guys' relationship.
Exactly.
You know,
And I think our friends opened up our eyes to see that, like, hey, like you guys are missing out on time with us right now that we could be having. Like, we went out and you guys didn't join us because you guys are worried about being together and you guys want to just hang out, you guys. And I was like, wait, like the way we're gonna keep our relationship healthy and godly is when we surround ourselves with godly people.
yes, 100%.
So it's hard.
Yeah.
Like we're young, not on the youngest. I know there's people that date much younger.
Yes.
We were the young adult phase, and where guys, we have feelings. It's hard. It's hard to maintain a godly relationship. Like we all struggle. We're all flesh, and we talked, and we're like the best way we're gonna maintain like holiness in our relationship is by having people surrounding us.
yeah,
And
Like people are gonna hold us accountable. Like
and this relationship came at a perfect time for me because it's again I matured a little bit, and then right about the time I started dating, that's when college was starting to get a little crazy.
wow.
Getting invites to certain parties.
Ah.
Mm.
And it was that crossroad. I think everyone goes through that crossroad with their faith.
Yeah.
you grow up in church, it's basically because your parents are telling you,
Yeah.
you got to go to church.
Yeah.
But then you get to that crossroad, and then that's your life's decided there. Am I gonna stay with church? Am I gonna, or do I want to follow all these things that are inviting me? And most people that happened in high school, maybe even like elementary school, But for me, it happened in college. I was always in love with church, but then in college is when I started realizing, like, wow, there's all this stuff happening around me. What do I want to do? And then she kind of brought me back. She when there was parties, all I was thinking about was racing back to Harrison to be, to watch a
Aw,
movie with her.
Yeah.
And it was like my friends would feel, where are you, man? Like, like and then they send me pictures. Look, there's all these people here. Like, let's let's go meet some people. And I'm like, I'm sorry, no, I gotta hang out with Steph.
And I believe that's what Satan tries to do with us. He tries to break these types of relationships, specifically when it's the Lord's will. He tries to come in and throw temptations like that to us to try to.
I can guarantee if she wasn't in my life, college would have distanced me hard from church.
100%. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I guess in that too, talking about having people around you, there are a lot of people who will say that, kind of just like, oh, like you're distant from us, or like you changed after you guys started dating. But it's like a lot of people don't want you to succeed in your relationship.
Yes, there is that.
There is a lot of that.
There is a lot.
It's like a jealousy. It's like mixed with
Yes,
everything. Yeah.
because God does place people together. Like you have to do your part. I'm a strong believer in doing your part, and God will do His.
Yes.
And the Bible says, what God joins together, no man is to separate. And when God puts people together, there's people that don't like that. People don't like happiness. It's insane to see in this day and age where people can't rejoice with your joy. Yeah. People can't support you.
And
Like,
this
oh my
is
gosh,
all
you guys are
biblical.
awesome. You guys are doing great. Keep going. Like even with the podcast, wow, like we love your podcast.
Oh, amen.
Like and we're supporting. And there's people that will probably like be like,
Oh.
hey, like oh my gosh, look at what they're doing, or like look at Matt and Steph, like look at them, like oh. Like,
And the amount of
like,
people
yeah,
that
you know?
message
Right.
you and to say, oh, you're different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll try to pull from that and be like, hey, like, you're not as happy as you used to be. Or what's going on? Like, why are you doing it like this? You were never like that.
Yeah.
And again, and strong, Matt said it. I know God put us together to build each other up and to start a change, to shift
Yes.
for a shift.
New
Because
season.
because I needed change and he needed change.
Perfect.
And
Yeah,
with that,
100%.
that was a perfect match for us to grow. And there was a lot of factors that played into, trying to like break us apart. And we knew, no, God he had a promise. The Bible has over 7,000 promises. Like, if you think about it, and I was like, I know God has a promise for us so many times.
And we had a lot of disappointments with friends, with family, especially in the
Can imagine.
beginning. And it was difficult. But again, we had that foundation that was our friendship and our faith. Because by the time we started actually dating, Steph was
I
very
was
strong in
already
church.
like, I was on
Amen.
fire.
So it was one of those things that I think a couple that's not prepared would have probably let the pressure get to them.
Oh yeah.
But for us, we something bad would happen. Someone would make us upset. We would just meet up, pray.
We would talk about
and
it.
then
We
we'd
would go
hang
to
out,
Starbucks. That
go
was like
about
our
day.
thing at Barnes and Noble when something
Oh,
happened.
those days were
we would
great.
meet.
Oh.
We would meet at like the
snowing
Barnes
with
and
this
Noble with the
coffee.
Oh,
Starbucks,
that's-
and we would talk it out, and we would.
It was
we were
like
hey,
a
so
Gilmore Girls episode, you know? Like,
That's the vibes that I'm getting.
we would talk about like, hey, like so this happened, so let's just talk about it.
We went on a Barnes and Noble date.
We
the
did.
other day.
That's a great date to
Oh
have.
wait, I'll tell you guys afterwards.
Much advice.
I'll tell you after
tuned,
what we
guys.
did at Barnes and Nobles. Yeah.
Stay
Stay tuned.
But it was.
if you want to know about it, just comment below.
Tell us.
Peer pressure us enough to the point where
That
Sign
we're
up
gonna
for our
go.
Patreon. I'm kidding.
Answer all the comments out there.
Sign up for our Patreon. I'm kidding, guys. I'm
Oh,
kidding. I'm
that's so
kidding.
beautiful. Wait, the real question: do you watch Gilmore Girls with her?
Okay.
She got me into
so,
it.
fun
What?
fact. So I would watch it, and Matt would
I
be
will.
like, "That's so dumb. I don't want to watch it." No, yeah. He's like, "I don't want to
You
watch
and me
it."
are literally
Hold
the
on,
same
I don't want to
premise.
watch it, and then he'd hover, and he'd be like, "No way."
and he knows what's going on. Dude, I'm trying to get Nick to watch Dance Moms.
Dance Moms.
No, there's another movie you want me to watch so bad you say all the time.
Oh, The Help.
The Help.
No, there's another
movie.
one.
I
Legally
love
Blonde.
The
Oh,
Help.
I think of
Legally
I
Blonde.
love
I wanna just see his
Legally Blonde. Yes.
I want to see his reaction.
Matt does that with everything I watch. He'd be like, "I don't want to watch that.
No,
That's so
I
silly."
pass by and be like,
he's
"Why?"
hovering, and he goes, "Why is that happening?" I'm like,
And
"I
I'd
didn't
be
know you
like,
were
this
here."
show is so. And I'd be like, wait, wasn't Rory dating that other guy?
Wait, what? Are you team Dean, Logan, or Jess?
Dean.
Excuse me?
I don't like Jess.
He
I don't know
he
what's
doesn't
going
make good
on.
choices. He doesn't.
I'm always against what she likes.
Because he was appalled. Okay, anyways.
Oh, that's a different.
Anyways,
Comment down below.
Sorry,
What
guys.
team are you?
We can have another time.
She also put me onto Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but
I don't
then,
even
love
watch
Brooklyn
Brooklyn
Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
No, I do. The Office. We're getting off topic.
We're getting
We're
off
getting way off
topic.
topic.
But you know what? You know he's the one if he'll watch your shows with you.
Yes,
There
exactly.
You go. There you go.
Exactly.
And if he can even pick a team, even if it's not the right team, if he can pick,
He's
There you
good.
go.
It's because he's invested. He knows what's going on.
But,
Yeah.
but again, moments like that and us just being able to just, like understand each other and find ways to understand each other, I think really
We
strengthens our
Yeah.
marriage. Our
honestly,
friendship.
when we started dating, I would let a lot of things get to me, especially with our relationship. I already had people say something bad about Steph around me, and like people had to like hold me back.
Whoa.
Like
I
from
still
like,
like that.
yeah, no.
No, it's like like a love. Like you
Right.
you defend. You're like
I've
defensive
had
of them.
people say like, when we started dating, I have no problem saying this. A lot of people found Steph attractive, and they were really into her, and I won. But they would still say inappropriate things to me about her.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
know.
they were trying to get to me, and in the beginning of the relationship, like it was to a point where like I probably could have done something that I regretted. Nowadays, I'm at a level relationship maturity. I'm not mature everywhere, but in a relationship, when people say that, I'm like, they'll be like, Steph's so pretty, and it'll be a guy, and I'll be like, you know what, she is. Thank you.
yeah.
I'm very happy that I have a very pretty wife.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
noticing.
Like it doesn't get to me anymore.
Yeah.
It's at a point where I think it comes with age too. But in the relationship, I'm at a point where personally things just don't get to me anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm just happy to be with this wonderful woman, have this wonderful family and a wonderful home. That's all I care about. And sometimes when certain things people say, it actually makes me sad because I don't get mad at them. I just think maybe they're saying this because they want the same thing.
Yeah.
And
It's like a jealousy thing.
yeah, they're like maybe they're hurt from a different
Yeah.
previous relationship.
I think jealousy isn't a good word. In Portuguese, I love that we have two words for jealousy, which is
Inveja and
Inveja
ciúme.
and
ciúmes.
ciúmes.
It's
Ciúmes, yeah.
which I wish we could have a translation for it.
There's not.
There isn't
How do you
really.
describe
Isn't
that?
envy?
Envy.
Envy.
I guess.
Okay,
Envy.
yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Envy is inveja,
Inveja.
and ciúmes is jealousy. Yeah.
But I feel like ciúmes is less than jealousy. It's more
I
like
get
a heart,
you.
like I wish I had what you had.
Yeah.
But
Or it's weird to describe.
Because-
but I see it as more as like a spirit, like a sadness
Yes,
spiritually.
yes, that's
for
what I'm
for not
talking about.
having that. Like not even like I want exactly what he has, but
But,
just
I wish I had.
just
something.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you know?
I'm sad because I want that. Not be not I'm angry because
And
I
then
want
and
that.
then they don't know how
Yes,
to
Yeah.
exactly.
they don't know how to react, and they end up letting it out
Yeah.
in a angry tone. So I told Steph I don't get angry at that anymore. My goal is to understand why the person's doing that and help them get through that. Like you're not gonna hurt me in my relationship anymore. Like it's not gonna
There you
happen.
go.
My goal is to protect my family, and like I feel like I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And if a person doesn't like it, then as a Christian, I'm not gonna push them away. I think my goal as a Christian is to help them.
Yeah.
You want to have what I have? Let's find it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Right.
No,
Let me
that's
help
that's,
you.
that's
Yeah, no,
amazing. Yeah.
Definitely. No, in this life, I think the best thing that I think, God number one, but my family.
Yeah.
Like the path, whatever path I had to go through that led me to Matt and my family, I would do it all over again.
Amen.
Like whatever I went through, all the hardships, whatever it is, I would do it 100 times over to have Matt, to have my family, to have Jules, because it changed my life. And me and Matt, I think right after we got married, I think we're seeing the results of it now. One thing we always talked about is no matter what, I want our relationship to reflect Christ, and I want others to look at us and get inspired based on our relationship. Find inspiration. Like I want a husband like Matt. I want a wife like Steph. Like I want to find a friend like them. I want my husband to be my friend. And we have people that come to us say like, I want a relationship like you guys have. And we'd be like, what? And through all my prayers, I would just say like, everything in the world could be going wrong, but our faith is so strong and our relationship is so strong. Our bond is so strong. And again, people don't know what we go through. We're very personal with our lives, but we are who we are all the time. Like what you see is what you get with Matt and Steph. We're what we are, just who we are all the time. And I think God is really honoring us in that prayer where we just asked him to reflect right off of us, that everything we do, may we shine him, and may people see how we feel for each other genuinely, and want to find that and not be in a rush to find that, no matter how long that can take. It's it's just
When I was 15, girl broke my heart. The life's over.
Yeah,
What's
let's
the
be for
point?
real.
But it's just like you'll get there. I mean, if I could go back to my 15-year-old and tell him the story of my
Oh,
life,
man.
he would be like, "What?
me. What happened?
What? That's me?
But it's just like, and we never even talked about babies like when we were dating and stuff. And now it just seems like our little girl, she was in our lives our whole life,
time.
not 2 months,
Like,
Beautiful.
It's
And it's just, again, it's one of those things. Some people, when they have children, it becomes an extra burden for them. But for us, it's just an extra
oh
blessing.
my gosh.
Amen. I know a lot of marriages fail after they have kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the kids
100%.
become extra, and it's just like for example, I never knew formula was so expensive.
yeah.
But then most people, maybe they struggle. I'd be like, you know what? We could cut Paramount Plus. We could, like,
We don't need that
we really
extra
need
thing. We
HBO
don't
Max.
need
No, you know.
that.
You are a good budgeter, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You gotta
but
get
it's
real
it's just like when I sit down and talk to her about stuff like that. Hey, I'm with the baby coming, the hospitals. I'm struggling a little bit. She will never put me down for it, and I think that's a relationship. A relationship is
Building each other up.
understanding what your partner is going through, and then working on a way to fix it. That's it. And if you're a young person, I'd say this for any young person. If you're a young person in a relationship now, and every time you talk about a situation or a personal situation, and the person you're talking to puts you down, demeans you, makes you feel like this is the worst thing ever, maybe that person isn't the right person for you. And in a relationship, you always build each other up. A relation, it sounds like a school thing. A relationship can't flow without you, without
Yes.
you making sure there's no holes in it, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I heard that honestly, I heard that.
I like that. I really like that a lot.
But
I like that.
It's
I was waiting for you to say it. I was waiting for you to say it or for Gabe to play the sound.
Nah, I like that.
I
like
the second I
that.
said it, I was like, I'm gonna regret this.
I love the sound bites.
Oh my
great.
god.
That's beautiful. And I guess that is kind of how the Lord has shown his will in your relationship through that. So many people, like I can say, we look up to you a
Oh, yeah,
lot
100%.
as a couple. And I think that it's so evident the blessings that the Lord has. We can see Jesus through your relationship.
100%.
And then
But God is funny because I used to, I used to pray for a tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. That was
Wow.
I specifically prayed for that, and God's like, I'm gonna give you a short, brown. I'll give you the opposite, but she's gonna be very pretty. So I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
All right, I'll take it, guys.
beggars can't be choosers.
oh my gosh, I love that so much.
I
God,
do.
I'm telling you, God knows what we like. We might think we know what we want, but He actually
Yes.
knows what we need.
He knows as much better.
He
than
knows
Yeah.
the desires of our hearts.
Of
He knows.
course.
He knows, yeah.
And he has no problem being like, you wrong.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
Oh, yeah.
whatever desires you have, they're flesh. You're
Steph was
wrong.
exactly like I'll say this to anybody. She was exactly what I needed. Like my
also
family is
exactly what I
great.
need.
My family is awesome. But I was an annoying teenager. I really was. And sorry, mom. Like
I was gonna say,
I made
poor
her
your
life.
mom.
My sister was annoying too, but she was good at school. I was bad at school and annoying. So it was
was a
like
double-
Yeah, double.
my mom was just like, I don't know what's gonna happen to you. So, but then she came in my life, and like I said, she drove me. Like it was my drive. I was like, I need to do better. Like that's all. And it's not saying, obviously, she's not the center of my life like God is, but God was like, you need something to put your focus into, and he gave me her, and she's so wonderful that all I could think was, I need to do better to make sure that we're both happy, not just her.
Yeah.
But as a husband and as the man of the home, which that's only a title, she runs that. but
Organization.
but as the man of the house, I always took that responsibility that, a lot of men will take the responsibility as, I need to be the boss. And that's not right. As a man of the house, it actually means that I'm making sure that my house is a happy home, so that she can also provide as much as I'm providing for my home.
Yeah.
The woman is just as important in the home as the man is. And the thing is with her her lessons for me, it was always like, you're so ignorant. Like, stop. You're so stubborn. Like I used to think like everything I did was right, and now I realize, man, I'm wrong in a lot of
sometimes,
things.
right?
Yeah.
And she was always willing to accept defeat. I was never willing to accept defeat, and she like
I think it's a man thing.
Yeah.
It's a man thing.
Because me accepting defeat made you
Yeah.
happy. I'm just kidding. No, but like on
Whoa.
like but in an honest
turn the cameras on.
no, but honestly, like just as a whole, to going into a relationship, if you're trying to jump into something to make yourself happy, wrong. Stop, take a step back. Because a relationship is meant to make someone else happy, not to make yourself happy. Because if I'm going in with the intention, I need to make, my goal is to make Matt happy, and he's going in with the same thing, wanting to make me happy, you're both happy. Because when you're seeking out happiness for yourself and not for who you want to make happy, you're always going to feel defeated.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to find joy because you're looking for it for yourself. It's selfish gain.
Yeah.
First Corinthians, love is not selfish.
Love is not
Love
selfish.
is not selfish.
And when you
Not
submit,
self-seeking.
when you submit everything to God, He puts everything in line. So I
Ooh,
think the
amen.
minute that we just said like the let go like God, like that's been our whole marriage, to let go like God, just let Him do everything. I think He really
And like I said,
Be
every
aligned to
every
everything.
situation we had in our relationship, it always resolved.
Yeah.
Always resolved itself.
we have no.
That's your
business-
tattoo too, right?
What?
Let go and let God. Is
No, that's my Jesus.
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
Okay, no.
testimony.
That would be our next one.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. But no, it's evident that everything that we have gone through is it's a miracle. First of all, it's,
Yeah, I don't know how we're together.
it's no, but even our situation, like we're in places we have no business being in. We have cars that we have no business owning. We have a home that we have no business being in. Like just living really wonderful seasons, and we don't deserve it. And I think that's because we dedicate a lot of our time to serving. I think that God blesses us in that way. And we always forget that. We forget that we invest so much time serving because sometimes it doesn't feel like work, you know?
It's so
It's
natural.
natural. We have hearts of servant. Like we rather serve. We enjoy serving. We like to be at church. Do you need help? We like helping. And sometimes we forget that we give that to God. And so when something good happens, we're like, how did that happen?
It's like, well,
And we forget that it's God's goodness because of our servitude and because we gave our youth to Him. We gave our relationship to Him. We were young. We were 18
God's
and
so-
20.
yeah.
God's so good that when we started being friends and everything, it was I was always kind of a loner, so I never every time like I hated sleeping over people's houses. Like, I always felt weird, but with her from the beginning, and this is honest, like I'm being very honest. From the beginning, when I was with her, I felt like I was home. Like, and that's when I realized like, oh man, there's more to this girl than
just-
There's
than
something
just
Yeah.
the friendship.
Yeah.
Because like with her, honestly I felt like it was my mom giving me her front con quiabo.
Aw.
Like it's the same thing. I felt so right. I used to go to people's houses. I would take my shoes off and sit down, just like, hey. When I go to her house,
Oh my
I lay
gosh.
down on the couch.
My parents think
Hey,
he's the
yeah.
folgado. He goes in
Yeah.
the kitchen. Do you have my mom would buy him pasatempo
Are you
because she knew
serious?
Matt was coming over. She was
I
like,
love
I'm so
pasatempo.
serious.
No, you're obsessed with
I
my
love
tattoo.
she would
Had
buy
a
a pack
pasatempo
for
budget
us
just
and
for
a
me.
pack just for
Just for
Matt.
You know
So
what's funny?
Matt was home.
My mom is the same way. Oh, Nick's coming over. Oh my gosh, I have to make food for him. And she goes and she makes something very. She knows he's coming.
Something
yeah.
specific that he enjoys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every time. His parents are the same way with me too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We have no, but that's
But
in
I
our
did.
house.
I just
We have a
felt
little
so
thing.
at home with her. Like I just. I
We
don't
have a board, and it's like a chalkboard, and it's been there for like years now. I just didn't change it, but it says "Home Anywhere with You" because we doesn't really matter. Like we could be
like
doing
even
anything.
when I go to Brazil with my family, and I love my family, but when I go a weekend, I'm like I want to go back to the U.S. And then I went to Brazil with her, and in my head, it was like 2 weeks in, I was like I could live here. But it's
Oh
just
my
'cause like it's weird to say like I don't want to give off that like she's more important to God in my life. She's not, but she is my life. Like we're one, you know, and we seek God together. But like without her, I'd be empty. Like I don't know, I'd be so broken without her.
Why are you crying?
Oh,
She's emotional.
Hot mess.
that's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess this is a great place to ask our final question. Very important question.
Why'd you say it like that?
Because it's like a very
Final.
It's like you know what's coming. It's a very question.
Final question.
Would you recommend dating young?
Ooh,
Loaded question.
Yes.
that's a loaded question. Right
I take the reins. I'll take it.
You got
Okay. So obviously, when we started dating, I think we're still young. So I would consider the
absolutely.
age we started dating
Yes.
young.
I don't feel young.
But I wouldn't recommend it with the wrong intentions because 18 was still relatively young, but we had traced a path where we were jumping into it with the correct intentions, I feel. Because it's a very loaded question because you're young, you see nowadays 13, 14-year-olds.
I was 15 when we started dating.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I hope, just so y'all know, that was weird for me. I did
That's
not
crazy.
think that I would be dating at 15. I
Right.
thought I was like after college.
Right. And it's insane. Like, again, God does his part. God will reveal to us who we're meant to be with. But sometimes people are seeking out things for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So when you're 13 trying to find the love of your life, how long can you possibly go until you're married?
Yeah.
Because again, going back to ultimate goal,
Marriage.
marriage, you're sanctified, you remain in holiness. It's hard. Let's be for real. You guys watching, let's be for real. It's hard to date at this day and age where everything is at the palm of our hands, where we have been exposed to everything.
Yeah.
And we know everything, and we can go online and look everything up. Like, everything is just right there. But it's really hard to be like yes and no, but it's a yes and no question because it depends on relative. What do you think is young? What do you perceive as young? For me, I still think we were young, but like if you're under 18 or if you're 15 or if you're 14, 13, we should be focusing on other things.
Yeah.
Focus your singleness on Christ.
Yeah.
Like, again, we had a long road before we were ready. I still don't think we were 100% ready because you're never going to be 100% ready.
That's why we have God.
That's why, exactly. God will prepare us. Don't spend your time trying to find someone. It's not all that. Don't.
Sorry.
No. No, don't.
Sorry.
Don't waste your
I'll just
youth
walk out,
trying to find someone because God will take someone to you. That's how it was with me and Matt.
It all come in his
wasn't-
time.
When you least expected it.
I wasn't trying to find
Yeah.
someone. Matt, till today, like I tell him, like I wasn't trying to date around. Like I wasn't interested in that. I was trying to get my life back on track with Christ. And when the right time came, God brought Matt into my life at the perfect time. My mom always tells me every pot has its top. Cada panela tem sua tampa.
Yeah.
So don't worry, you're not missing out. Like you're 13, you're 14, you're not missing out on anything major. Wait your time because sometimes like people say, oh, you have to kiss frogs until you find your prince. No, you don't. No, your first frog is your prince. Could be your
Yeah.
prince.
Could be,
You know, you don't have to do that. So I think it's like a relative question depending on what how old you perceive as young. But personally, me and Matt, everybody thought we were really young when we started dating, when we decided to get married. But that was the best thing for us.
Yes.
What was good for us might not be good for anyone else. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe you come from a family that's destroyed. Maybe you need, like, you're mentally ill. Maybe you have feelings that are not worked out. Maybe you're not close to Christ. Maybe you messed
You
up
have
in your walk.
hurt that needs to be
Yes.
solved.
So because before you join with someone else, you're joined in flesh. You're joined, like our spirits are intertwined. If I couldn't work out my mess, my spirit was going to be I was going to intertwine with his spirit.
Yeah.
And he was going to have to carry my mess.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yes. So, yeah, that's how I feel
That
about
was
it.
a
I
really
think
good
it
answer.
was
That was a very
like
good
it's
answer.
Really good
it's
answer.
hard because you think about it like, yes, we were young, but hey, there's 12-year-olds out there wanting boyfriends and thinking about this. It's okay to have a goal. It's okay to be like, I aspire to be married. I want a husband. I want kids. I want a home. I want a car. Like, it's okay to have dreams, but you have to make sure that your dreams align with God.
With God's truth.
God's plans for you, because again, it's like in all your ways, just submit to the Lord, and He'll make your path. Like He has everything under control, and when we can understand that, I think it makes the burden much lighter.
I think
yeah.
there's a big difference between dating and casually dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you're, we talked about it all the time. What's your end goal,
Yes.
right? An empty mind is the devil's playground, right? It's the same
Yep.
thing. A relationship that has no end goal, that's the devil's playground too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's the thing. I don't think there's an age. I think there's a maturity level.
Yes.
So like some people just aren't mature enough to get into a relationship, and some people who are really young, they're very mature. They have a good head on their shoulders and they're ready.
Yeah.
It's just what's your end goal.
Yeah.
If you plan on dating for 10 to 15 years, can you remain
Can you maintain
distant
your
from-
holiness?
Can you maintain it? Like, can you, you know,
And it happens to some people.
Yes.
It does.
Oh, what was that guy?
Isaiah Saad. Fun fact about
Yes,
Isaiah
yes,
Saad:
yes.
she was dating till he was 15 up until 27.
Dated
That's
for
a
12
long
years, and they didn't
time.
have their first kiss
And
until the day of the wedding.
That is a
Oh, that's
long
crazy.
time.
That
Yeah.
is crazy. Talk
Long
about
time.
keeping yourself holy for 12
And it's like, and you know
years.
yourself, you know
Yeah.
your fleshly
Yeah.
desires.
Yeah.
So for you to be like, I'm going into this relationship, could I maintain holiness for like 10
Yeah.
years?
So that's what I would say. Like it all depends on what your end goal is.
Yes.
When we started dating, she knew very clearly I want to get married. She had told me before, my goal is I date to get married. That was our conversation. But like, I don't know, like, at least when I was young, I would see a lot of people dating, and they'd be dating someone with their eyes already on someone else.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like you're fishing already. You're
Yes.
like,
Yeah,
like,
you're ready
Two
for
weeks
sure.
later, they'd be with that person, but then they'd be looking at their ex, and then
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and it's just like, you know, what's going on? What's your goal? You know, sometimes relationships end. Sometimes you have an end goal and relationships end. That's okay. But like, if you start a relationship off already not thinking about the future,
Yeah.
then why
Why
are
are
you?
you dating?
yeah,
why
what's
are you
the point?
dating?
Why are you
Yeah.
Are
like
you dating for heartbreak or for
Yeah,
marriage?
Yeah.
Like
And-
investing time is a lot. It's hard. Like I tell them all the time. I'm like, if God forbid, if way back then things wouldn't have worked out, I don't know if I would have had the energy to like try to pursue like
Another person.
you're building
Uh-huh.
a friendship. You're building a bond. Like
I think
that's
that's
a lot
our.
of
I think
work.
that's our message, like, for the whole topic of discussion
Yeah.
is be their friend.
Be
you
friends.
know?
There's nothing wrong with not with getting to know someone.
And
But be
you,
their friend. You don't have to. You know.
you, a nice girl who has a nice friend that you ignore. For
Your husband's in the friend zone.
Yeah, that happens so
gosh.
much.
You know what Nick tells me? He goes, as a guy, trust me, the boy best friend always loves the girl best friend.
It's
always.
it's-
Facts.
I've told Steph's like, no, they're just. I'd be like, no, that guy is in love with that girl. Trust
It always
Clearly.
happens.
Trust me.
Because
Yeah.
for us, we don't believe in this whole girl best friend thing.
No,
we
that's-
don't believe in that
That's
stuff.
not a thing. I guess.
I know some girls do, but we
No.
don't. We don't believe
But
in
you
that
see,
stuff.
but like when you're somebody's best friend, you know them. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, it makes sense now because you're getting to know them and you like them for who they genuinely are.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's
Rather
what,
than looking
that's
at,
what
like, a
creates that like
dating-
like that love in your
I
heart.
was in love with her. I joined dance. I don't know how to dance. I joined dance group.
Matt
in
would try to do
church,
anything.
and I was there, like, you know. Like,
Matt went to all the
for her.
women's services. Like
Just for her,
Matt
just
was
to be around it.
Matt was
Wow.
there.
Wow.
Like he
I was the
like,
guitar player for like all the women's services for a year. She
wonder
went to
why.
one.
I was a young lady. I wasn't a woman yet.
I was. They made me. There's a picture of all the women with flowers,
And
and,
Matt's
then
like
me
this.
at the end.
like cranky in the back.
That's so funny.
No, but
I can just imagine it. I'm sorry.
So crazy.
but he was in everything. But again, it's a main goal. I think if I have anything to just like stick out today is it's okay to be friends. I think it's important to be friends.
And when you become
Yeah.
really close friends before the relationship, your relationship's only gonna strengthen your.
It's only going to
friendship.
go up from there
Oh, yeah.
because
She's my best friend.
because it's hard. It's like to
You
be
should-
to be surprised. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised at what you just said. Like you're together and you're like, oh my gosh, I found this out right now about
Uh-huh.
Matt. Like, what
It's
am
a
I gonna
crazy
do?
big thing.
Like it's a shock.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you're friends, it's so much easier to accept somebody's hurt than when you're in a relationship.
Uh-huh.
Like it's harder to forgive when you're in a relationship.
And when
it's
you're-
harder to let go of all these things. But when you're friends, it's so much easier to.
And like she's
The
saying,
burden's light.
when you have a friendship and you have a bad day, you know, everyone has a bad day. You know, you're angry or, you know, something happens and you're like, wow, I really didn't know about this. It doesn't hurt your relationship. When you're really close friends, every time we've had a really bad situation in our relationship, we would sit down and resolve it. And we'd come out so much stronger
Yes.
in the end. And that's because we have that foundation, which is our friendship. So that's what I'd say when you're saying about dating young, you know, be their friends. You know, if they're amazing friends, you know, watch how they treat their family.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Watch
a
how
big
they
one.
treat their
Yep.
other friends.
Uh-huh.
Because also, once you get into a relationship, you know, that's going to be a scar if that person isn't the right person for you.
Yeah.
So have that foundation as your friendship, and everything that happens once your relationship starts will only strengthen
It's
your
only gonna
relationship.
build you up.
But if you start I met you yesterday, let's date, and then you found out all these things about this person, and you're not ready for that,
Yes.
it's gonna
take a
hurt
toll.
you. It's gonna create
Unnecessary baggage.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And you're not. You know, there are people. I'm 30. There are people my age today that I talk to that are single, and they're single specifically because when they were 15, 16, 13, something happened in their lives with a relationship that just cause them to not trust people moving forward.
Yeah.
Yes, people have trauma from like growing up and dating, like whatever. Had a boyfriend and they thought it was really serious, and then again they weren't in the church or whatever, and then they would say like I got really seriously hurt, and now they're adults and they're still hurt by their teen relationships, and they're
Yeah.
like, I wasn't in Christ, and now that I am, like I still can't. I have a hard time getting to know people. I have a hard time creating friendships, and that generates a lot of hurt, and that
Yeah,
can
yeah.
carry. That's gonna unfortunately that carries through your whole life. It
Again,
really affects all
I've
relationships.
met
all
people my
friendships.
age that when they talk about their relationships, their eyes get all watery, and they sound like a 10-year-old like talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
And you
that
just
hurt
see
still lives there. Like
they
it's
never-
it's
Yeah.
almost like it's fresh, even though it was a
Yeah.
long time ago.
They never matured past it
Yeah.
because of that hurt, and that's what I would. That's the thing. It's such a loaded question, the dating,
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah,
because it's like we're saying just be ready to date,
Yeah.
but it's
a
hard to
process.
know
yeah.
when you're ready. It's
So
Just-
submit
just-
yourself. Sorry, go.
No, I was about to say just.
I think we're gonna say the same thing.
What were you gonna say?
Go first.
I was gonna say just literally just ask the Lord to open your eyes and open your ears. Surrender yourself. Ask the Lord for wisdom, for discernment, to know when exactly
For
is
him
the
to
right
guard
time.
your heart.
And guard your
I
heart
think
too.
That's so important. Guard
Because
your
it's like you
heart.
said, a lot of people start dating but with their eyes on other people, right? So it's like guard my eyes, guard my heart, guard my
Yes.
ears, right? So that I can be prepared for that person.
Yes,
So I
yes.
think that's something very important too that should be
Yeah.
applied as well.
And submit your
our
life to the Lord
generation.
first, because He should be your main priority.
Yeah.
Yes.
A relationship will come after you already have your life with the Lord set. You guys started
Yes.
dating when you got closer to the Lord.
Yes.
I'm 100% sure that the Lord had a purpose for that.
Yes.
100%.
At the time, didn't understand it. Today, I'm like, wow, thank you,
you,
Lord.
Thank you,
Yeah.
God.
Thank you, Lord.
Absolutely.
if you focus on the Lord, you don't have time to focus on the bad parts of your
Yes.
relationship,
Yes.
because He's gonna shine His light all over
Yes.
it
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Amen.
and get it all done.
I love everything about this.
That's amazing.
Guys, this was a great way to kickstart this
Wow,
series.
I was about to say.
I'm so glad that the Lord
This
put
was
you
really
guys
fun.
in our heart.
This
It was
was
so
really
fun.
was.
It's
Oh
always
my
great.
goodness.
Oh,
This is always great.
We're gonna stop recording. We're not leaving. Let's be so honest.
For real.
No, but like seriously, like the Lord put you guys in our heart to be the first couple.
Yeah.
We were saying like, no, I think that their story is gonna bless so many lives, so many youth. It's blessed me.
Wow, even
Hello.
me for sure, yeah.
And I'm very grateful for. I'm gonna start crying.
We're so blessed to be here. Don't cry because I will cry immediately after you.
guys
It
too.
will be the first time she cries on the podcast.
Oh no, we gotta do it. Wait, I love my wife so much. Think
I love my life.
about your future.
No, seriously, thank you so much for letting the Lord use you guys. Thank you so much for everything, for being here. We're so grateful. And I know that everyone watching definitely experienced something wonderful from the Lord.
Oh yeah.
No, keep on.
100%.
Take their advice. This is good advice from a
Yes.
married young couple, okay? I'm telling you, this is really good. And tune in next week for another episode. Can I tell them what we're going to be talking about, or can I spoil it a
Ooh.
little bit?
I think we should
I'll
leave
say
it a
this.
surprise.
Okay, I'll leave it a surprise. I'm just gonna say this. We briefly, very briefly touched it. I'll tell you guys after. We very briefly brushed upon
Very
this
briefly.
episode.
If you pay attention, go back to the
Yes.
episode maybe. We very briefly touched on it and it
Yes.
will be the topic. for
Yes,
next
and it's
episode.
gonna edify your life so much.
Yes.
We'll see you guys soon.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Oh, oh.